Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Caliber Corner Season 6, episode number 287. Welcome, everybody. Season 6, episode 287. Body armor basics, plates, carriers, ratings, etc. We're going to educate the masses today as we talk about body armor. What do you need to know? What should you think about? Do you need it? Do you not need it? Should you own it? What are the legalities behind it? So I've got this little bit of research that I did this week for everybody, all kinds of information. So we'll have little sections that we'll share with everybody to kind of give you an idea as to what the different ratings are for body armor, the material, plate carrier options, advantages, disadvantages, and anybody here that's on the panel that's had some military service experience that was issued body armor will be welcome to kind of chime in and share what those experiences were like because they're using it in actual combat situations. I've only been blessed to have to actually put real body armor one time on in my life, and that was it. It's a long story. But anyway, before we do that, why don't we go and give a shout out on the YouTube side and see who's joining us. I want to thank everybody for joining us at our new summer time slot, 4 o'clock Central Time here in God's country, Nebraska, 5 o'clock for those people that live out east. But anyway, we've got Y&H out there. We got DM Foz in the house, Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy, Hillbilly up, Jay Coozer 2 is in the house, G23, Squibload, Squibliff, the whole Squib Empire's with us. We got Defense Dad out there saying he sees gun people. Yes, we do. We've got myself out there. And yeah, why don't we just go and let the panel introduce themselves and we'll get started. This podcast will probably take about an hour. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. Caliber Corner's a podcast we've been doing for 6 years now, 287 episodes. And man, we're running strong. So we're going to go and get going here. Why don't we go and let Hillbilly up introduce himself and we'll keep on going. Hillbilly up. What do you know, man? What's going on?
Hey, Travis, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, man.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. Tell us about your channel. Well, you just had a little YouTube premiere that we just watched here right before we started. What were you doing?
Yeah, I got the new Rossi Model 92 357 lever action. Love that gun. I've done a few videos before that, and I thought, well, let's see if we can catch a bullet with it. And so we tried it with a 38 special and then 357, and I guess you'll just have to go watch it to see if we actually caught one or not. And,
now, you didn't catch it yourself. I mean, nor did you catch it with a giant can of White Claw, but we won't reveal what it was you caught the bullets with. You didn't physically stand in front of a gun. We're not obviously promoting that.
No.
So you guys are going to have to check out the Hillbilly Up American Hillbilly channel if you want to see what happened. You missed it. You got to go back and check it out. So what else is new, man? You just finished what, a 5-part series on the High Point carbine. Is that correct?
Yeah, man. We took the good old trusty High Point that I've literally have been just abusing for the last year. I mean, not even cleaned it one time, and just put round after round of dirty ammo, everything through it. And it actually really passed the test, did great. Yeah. So we figured it's time for a makeover for that girl. And so we just went through, cleaned it, added some new stuff to it, and just, we took something that's awesome, we made it awesomer.
That's awesome, man. And again, just shout out to High Point for making the hero of Thunder on the Prairie 2023, the one gun that gave nobody issues whatsoever, the gun that everybody hated on.
Wait,
the
what?
High Point JXP10.
What?
Now, just because Squib couldn't figure out that the safety also doubles as a slide release, it's not my problem. Had you watched the Travis P11 cleaning video ahead of time, you would have known the proper function and manual of arms for that firearm. So shame on you, Squibload. Anyway, Squib, how's it going?
I'm going to release the High Point video before the ramen noodle video now.
No. Hey, are we going to get the unedited director's cut and the edited version? Going to do G-rated and then the S.
Oh no, you guys jumped in there. Everybody's going to see what really goes on.
So Squib had a very exciting experience with the High Point JXP10 on the firing line, and he's very passionate about his shooting ability and skills and manipulation of the firearms, his way of the gun, and you guys are going to get to enjoy every moment of it once it goes live on his channel. And then also we got some ramen noodles coming up here, so that's right.
What?
What? You were paying attention. By the way, didn't we argue if it's caramel or caramel? Didn't we argue that?
No, I had to explain to you.
It's caramel, right? Remember, I told you that I was actually corrected for the first time in my life. You can't pronounce it caramel because there's an A after the R. And you think I would know this based off my career, but I had no idea. So it is caramel. Do you call it caramel?
You know, there's silent words and
What? But
silent letters and words.
when did this happen to the English language? Okay, you know what? Enough of that. The J, whatever.
That's hillbillies can't pronunciate anyhow. So
Hillbilly, is it caramel or caramel? What do you call it? Caramel? What do you call it? Do you put that extra?
We call it caramel.
Caramel. That's
do
sophisticated he sounds.
Do you wash your clothes or do you wash your clothes?
Wash.
I wash.
Wash. My grandma
What
says
is this?
wash.
What is this? Wash.
You hang up the wash, buddy.
Look what I started. Okay, we'll talk pecan versus pecan later. Okay, so Squib, what's coming up on your channel, man? Squibby, give us a little idea. What can somebody expect to see if they watch your what's coming up on the channel? Give us a teaser.
Let's see. I don't know. Stuff. Visibility. It's not even. Here. I'm in the studio. Visibility has schedule. Apply. Just a couple videos from NRAM is coming up. That's all.
All right.
Yep.
Awesome. So make sure you guys check it out. Get over there and subscribe. We got to get Squib up to 1,000. That's the next push.
No,
so it was JH586 before. Now it's Squiblo because he's ready to monetize and get in the big pockets of YouTube money. Look at that.
Nope.
He'll be the last guy.
Kind of interesting is I'll be up 20, then I'll be down 40. So yeah. I'm good with that. I am.
That's all right,
I
man.
don't care.
That's right. It happens. All right. And last and certainly not least, everybody's favorite uncle, Single Shot. How's it going, brother? How you doing? You good?
Oh, I'm having my signal problems as always. You hear me okay?
You sound good, man. You sound good. Yeah. Where are you at right now?
Okay. I am on I-90 headed eastbound, almost into Pennsylvania, headed back to the home location. Deliver Wednesday. I'm back on my regular route finally.
Okay.
I've had all kinds of issues here this last month and a half, actually. I missed a week's worth of work because of an illness. Don't know what it was. I know it knocked the crap out of me. So
there's a lot of that going around, dude. I'm telling you. So
yeah, there is. And getting used to this new truck. It's a lot shorter frame, so she bounces me pretty hard there in a lot of places here with this new one. So 2023 automatic, super singles, all that mess.
Ooh,
and I've got my reserved opinions about those things.
That's all right.
But it's taken a little bit of getting used to. And I'll be back on my regular schedule now. I'll be home Wednesday afternoon, be home Thursday, and take off again Friday afternoon. And I apologize that I just have not been very active on my two channels. I've had a lot of things that I wanted to do videos on, but just have not had the chance to do so. So bear with me, folks.
Yeah, all in good time, man.
I appreciate it.
I mean, you're retired, but you're working harder now than you were before, so we get it.
Yeah, you're kind of right about that because
my dad's the same way. I don't ever want to retire. Route, that's what it's going to look like. Yeah.
Yeah, dedicated route. You got to really got to keep the contract happy and people happy. So far, I've done pretty well as far as I'm concerned. I actually got a compliment from the shipper here a while back. It really surprised me. Anyway, want to say hello to everybody in the chat, and I'll be riding along listening. Good subject, Travis. I'd like to learn more about it myself.
Well, we got a lot of info, but I mean, I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to take in the discussion. We can each part, we can maybe have a little discussion on each section of what we're going to talk about, and then just take a look. Like if you do a search, what are you going to find? There's some websites that do a really good job of explaining the body armor, its applications, what you need to know, etc. G23 out there says you can monetize at 500 and 3,000 watch hours. I did a live stream on it. So go back and check out G23's live stream if you guys are interested. I thought it was 1,000 in 4K because that's what it was when I monetized like 6 or 7 years ago. So I had no idea that's what it takes now, which is a good thing because, now, especially if you're gun channel trying to get 500 subs or 3,000 watch hours, I mean, it can take some time, especially if you're not getting pushed out on the algorithm at all. So So what's today's topic? I think what I'll do is just put up so you guys have something to check out here over on ar500.com. They have a really nice diagram that talks about basically the 4 different types of the armor itself. And then obviously, they're trying to sell you products, but they do talk about the different types of material that these plates are made out of if you're going to get yourself a set of body armor. And I will say this, body armor prices, in my opinion, have basically hit an all-time low, in terms of what a person has to spend. The fact you can get ceramic plates for 150, 200 bucks a piece now instead of 500 bucks a pop. Now, you got to watch out where you're going to source it from. I would really do some research into the brands. I wouldn't get the cheapest stuff you can buy off of wish.com. I mean, read the reviews, watch the videos on it. Me personally, I would only buy body armor that's made in the USA, unless say it's like a supplier to like the Israeli military or some military that, I'm just thinking of brands, right? That get their armor from some legit company, because we're talking about your life here. And if you ever get to a situation where you're going to be taking a hit on your body armor, there's a couple things you definitely want to know before you go into any kind of a situation like that. So we'll go ahead and get started. I got some notes here that I shared with everybody that was on the panel. We're just going to talk about the different ratings that you have. So when you look up the body armor, what's interesting is ar500.com, and I'm not sponsored by them. They're just the first one to pop up on a Google search, and guess what? It'll probably be that way for you too. Over at ar500.com, they've got understanding body armor types. They kind of have their own classification for it, if it's going to be soft or polyethylene or alloy, which basically is AR500 steel, or ceramic. And then they have an A1, A2, A3, but that doesn't necessarily match the official categorizing of the armor that is used by the NIJ, the National Institute of Justice, which is basically like the SAMI, if you will, of armor production and armor standards and ratings. So there's basically like 4 different ratings here. Okay. So we've got the level 2A armor. Now, the thing is that soft armor, polyethylene, alloy, ceramic, it can be rated for this or more. Any of these can be rated for any of these levels we're going to talk about. Level 4 doesn't mean it's just going to be ceramic only. So these ratings can apply to any of these types of armor if the technology is put into that armor, and many times it is. So NIJ, National Institute of Justice, level 2A is 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson. I'm assuming they're talking now. I don't have the grain weight. I don't have the velocity. You can specifically look up what that was, because 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson, that's a whole catalog of possible loading, hollow point, polytip, whatever, different grain weights and so on. So I'm just giving you the generals, and you can look up and see what it's resistant to: ball armor versus ball ammo versus hollow points. So level 2A is 9mm and 40 resistant. Level 2 is 9mm/357 Magnum. 3A is 357 SIG and 44 Magnum. 3 is 762 millimeter, and I don't know if that's going up to say by 54, by 39, but it's also M80 ball ammo rated for level 3, which I'm assuming is 762 by 51 or 308 Winchester. So you guys can correct me on this at any point if I'm wrong, okay? And then level 4 is 30 caliber armor piercing and M2 armor piercing resistant, which is 166 grain pill running at 2,880 feet per second. So that's level 4, which is basically about the highest level you can get. Now, just kind of as a marketing ploy, some of these companies kind of add their own like little subcategories to the ammo. So there's also 3+, which is something that's pushed by certain manufacturers. It's not NIJ recognized as a standard level of protection, but 3+ means that it's proprietary. It's more damage resistant than level 3, but it's not level 4. So it could be multiple hit level 3 resistant, but not level 4. And then you got to watch out, because you might be looking at an armor rig and it's going to give you an ICW rating. ICW means in conjunction with, which means if you wear this armor with an additional set of armor, you're going to get this type of rating. So you might have like a level 3 vest that's ICW rated at 4 if you're wearing, say, level 3 or level 4 plates. All right. So the ICW thing, I wouldn't really pay attention to that. I would pay more attention, unless you're going to double up on the armor, I would pay attention to the actual level that you're going to get. Now, there's this thing that costs a little bit more. It's an anti-spall coating. So when you get shot with a bullet, what's going to happen is that ammo, if it doesn't penetrate through, it's going to splinter and basically explode. It's going to be throwing shrapnel all over the place. So I took my vest apart for you guys. I just have an AR500 steel 4-plate rig, and I was going to show that to you. So you've got essentially your strike face here. Okay. Notice that the plates are curved. This is just a basic plate of AR500. This is my side plate. This was made in March of 2017. This is Tactical Scorpion, which it doesn't sound like a very fancy brand, but I've seen it tested on several channels, and it will take multiple hits from 308 and 556 before it fails. The shiny coating that you see on here, this is your spall coating. And basically when the ammo hits it, that spall coating is going to almost act like a putty or glue that's going to absorb that shrapnel. It's going to go underneath and in it. It's almost like a layer of like fabric sort of, and everything gets tangled up in it so it doesn't go up into your face and your neck. So the anti-spall coating is going to cost you more, but at the same time, it's also going to basically prevent you from getting what could be possible, terminal damage if you hit an artery or can't stop bleeding out or whatever, right? So the plates are very heavy, and the AR-500 plates are heavy, and we'll talk about the advantages of each one here in just a little bit. So we'll just leave this particular screen up so you guys can see it, and we'll kind of drag down a little bit as we go through the different types of armor. Hillbilly up, do you have any experience at all with body armor whatsoever, or have you looked into buying any? What are kind of your thoughts on, if you get it, would you go like level 4, just go big or go home, or what do you see for like your own like personal application? What would you do?
Well, first I want to address that 3+. Yeah. I kind of like to know between 3 and 4. I would kind of like for him to put on there. Is it 3 1/4 or 3 3/4?
Yeah, like how much? What does the 3+ give you? Is it just multi-hit? Resistant? Is that what makes 3? But again, since it's not a standard, it's just something you might see. You might say, "Oh, I'm going to get the 3+." Whereas maybe say it's $25 more for the plate to go to level 4, then just go level 4. But again, there's pros and cons when you go up a level, depending on the material, the thickness, the weight. Because every time you go up a level, you're looking at a weight increase, sorta, depending on what material you're going into. So have you ever contemplated picking any up at all, or looked into a plate carrier and getting a setup, or is that just something that you just know?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Of course the steel is always going to be your better choice. But
it's the most cost effective. My whole rig I think was under $200, but yeah.
The ceramic.
Yeah.
But, just like DM was saying out there, Foss, they are dated, and with basically kind of like an expiration or type date deal. I don't know. I would think in most scenarios, I don't know if I would go with the highest and the heaviest.
Well, and it doesn't always have to be though, because you can get level 4 in polyethylene, which is super light, but you're also looking at $300 to $400 or maybe $250 per plate, double the price of the AR-500, but it's also one of the lightest. So, but it's also the bulkiest. So it's like there's pros and cons to all of it when you're going to get it.
Yeah, most definitely. There's several different companies out there, and there's a lot of good plates. I mean, there's no doubt about that. One thing I have noticed that like with the ceramic, it seems like they do good for one shot, maybe two shots, but then they do start breaking up.
It almost looks like if you're going to shoot like a big brick of plaster, like it's just going to crack and break, and just kind of like concrete breaking basically is what it kind of reminds me of whenever they shoot it. It just kind of shatters, because it is basically like a ceramic or a glass type of material. Well, I mean, it's going to be some sort of blend, whatever the company makes it from,
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I'm really seriously, considering, getting more, into this for, me and like my wife, because I mean, the phone books and then the leftover ceramic tile from the bathroom just ain't going to cut it for long,
That's only going to get you so far, man, Yeah.
Yeah, but I was thinking about just wearing a bunch of, if anybody plays golf, just one irons, because I mean nobody can hit a one iron.
Oh man, I hear you, dude. Let's see. Raw Feeding 101 with a super chat. What's up, Travis? Thanks for doing this topic for me. P.S. I'm on episode number 236 of my watch every episode of Caliber Corner project. So Raw Feeding 101 has been binge watching from episode 1 on, and he'll ask me questions. He's like, "Hey, in episode 12, what did Squib mean when he said?" And I was like, "Dude, I got to go back and watch it. That was 6 years ago. I don't even know where I was at when I made that episode. I don't know what I was going through."
Only
Squib was like
Squib can be responsible.
AWAG
for
was
what
like
Squib
still
said.
in his diapers, running around in a walker. What's that?
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, no, it's cool, man. So hey, Raw Feeding, dude, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much, man. Awesome. So Squib, moving on with you. Experiences with body armor. What are your thoughts on it now for the modern consumer versus what you dealt with or what you might have been issued? What do you think?
So what we had wasn't like it is today.
Okay.
They more or less told us this is probably going to stop shrapnel. That's about it. If you get shot, it's going to go right through it. I actually looked it up on Wikipedia,
Oh,
and it says the vest that I was issued is level 2 or level 2A. So, and the helmet is, do they have a rating for it? I don't see anything here on Wikipedia with some sort of scientific number here, but I can tell
kind of
you
the
that.
old flak jacket kind of stuff, basically. Like, you know.
So mine was the replacement for the flak jacket they had in
I
Vietnam.
was gonna say Vietnam. Yeah, yeah.
So mine's the one right after that.
Uh-huh.
And they told us this is not a bulletproof vest. This is not going to do much more unless maybe a grenade or some other explosive goes off near you, and it might protect you from some fragmentation. Really, the only time I purposely wore the thing was when I was in the Alps because I was so freaking cold. It was one extra layer. It kept me warm.
And
It
it's
says
heavy.
here-
Well, yeah, I don't know about your stuff, but my AR 500 rig probably weighs 30 pounds, I'm guessing, 25 to 30 pounds, if not more, maybe 40.
So it
So,
says
yeah.
that here on Wikipedia, it says the vest I had weighed 9 pounds. So it was fairly thick. It was flexible.
Okay.
And, it was camouflage. I think it had some pockets on it. But really, it only did two things. One, it kept the shoulder straps on my Alice pack from digging into my shoulders when I was fully loaded. And it kept me warm in freezing weather, or warmer, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But otherwise, it's just
Yeah.
extra weight. Now, the armor they have today is more effective, whether it be heavy or not. However, we were trained to work without armor. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other, but the way I hear people on the internet talk about it, this is what they imply. If this isn't what they mean, then
Okay.
they need to listen to themselves. I plan to get shot in the torso as many times as possible, and that's why I have this. Okay, my plan is to not get shot anywhere.
Yeah. you would
Or
think so.
pray
Yeah.
that they only hit me where the armor is. Okay, so I don't understand that. It's just like the isosceles versus the Weaver. The Weaver stance is supposed to reduce your profile so you're harder to hit. The isosceles, I saw a YouTube video where somebody was going, the isosceles stance is better because
Oh, God.
I'm presenting a bigger target because I want them to shoot me here in my armor. And this guy said this on a YouTube, and I'm going, oh my goodness.
Do you think it's not? You think you're just not going to feel anything when that hits you? I mean, so you think you're just going to walk away and be like, "Oh, that just felt like a BB gun"? No. All right.
So I think that armor has a
Yeah.
place, but I hear a lot of people talking about they're going to throw on their armor and they're going to bug out to their location, right? And they're on foot. Dude, I'm telling you what, most of you guys are so out of shape. You're not going to make it a mile before you take that armor off and pitch
I want to
it.
say something, Squib. The one time I actually had to put the vest on because I had a person that needed a security escort. Long story. I told you about this. And you know what? It was heavy and I was sweating and I was very much out of shape and I barely fit with the vest on. So you are correct, sir. Right?
Okay, so I don't buy the whole ounces is pounds, pounds is pain crap. That's a bunch of BS.
No,
That's said by a big YouTuber who
I
is
would have died.
a poser.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say this: if your loadout, whatever it is practical for your situation,
Yeah.
then that's that ounces, pounds bull crap is just that bull crap.
Yeah.
If you're going to carry everything but the kitchen sink, if you think you're going to walk into battle like some character from your first-person shooter video game, you're sadly mistaken.
Well, you might, but you're not going to last very long. I mean, let's just get that.
Yeah. So a lot of people coming onto their YouTube channels talking about, how tough they are and all their cool gear and stuff. They don't have the physical ability to lift it. So I would say if you were doing sentry duty, that would be a good place for it. If you were in really good shape, if you have the opportunity to put the stuff on and jog in the heat,
I see people that wear lead vests when they train. They'll be wearing it around, just even walking. They'll have that extra resistance on their body. The ones that you buy for fitness don't look as tactical. They're straight bars. You can tell that they're lead, like it's a lead vest. You don't have all kinds of like molly loops and attachments on it, but you could, in theory,
But for the most part, I just see it as impractical. I don't think it should be illegal. I think you should be able to buy all you want, wear it wherever you want, go right ahead. You'll be over there, on the side of the road. They'll be calling an ambulance and trying to rehydrate you. But I just don't. Now, when we were in Somalia, the air crew actually had, I guess, what would be called a plate carrier, even though we didn't call them that. We had a vest with a slit in it, and they would slide in this big steel plate that sat from about their waist to the top of their chest. It was rusted. These things, I don't even know where they got these things from. They're old, but these guys are tied in with their belt, hooked to the roof of the helicopter, and they're leaning out over the machine gun. And the whole point was if a small arms round came through and somehow got underneath the machine gun mount or something like that and hit them in the chest, this steel plate would stop them. It didn't protect their face or any other part of their body. That's the only time I ever saw anybody wear more than our flak jackets. And that was just when we were in Somalia. They didn't wear them when we were in Bosnia. And I don't know why, but I mean, it was just one of those, and we did go in right after Black Hawk Down. So maybe that was it. I really didn't see a lot of body armor. The SEAL team that we had attached to our amphibious readiness group, I never saw those guys put on armor. So it was just something we didn't have. Now, I have to say that, I've seen some of these guys wearing knee pads and elbow pads too, and I understand that's not going to stop a bullet. But when you fall, and it protects these parts of your body, because there were times where we would have to literally drop. Right? We drop flat. You ever drop flat onto rocks? You ever drop flat onto prairie grass that's burned?
Oh, yeah, it's not fun.
Like dropping onto sharp glass. Right? So body armor will protect you from other things. If somebody hits you with something blunt, hit you with the body armor, it might, or a knife, it might knock the wind out of you or knock you down or something, but it's going to protect you against that. It's going to protect you against other things. So depending on what kind of armor you have and where you're wearing it, it might not stop a bullet, but it might protect you from something else. So in certain applications, I might want that extra weight because we're going to walk 10 miles through an area that just had a forest fire yesterday. Well, I think I'm going to put on my body armor because I've fallen in that crap and it's sharp. So there are times where I just think it's practical. Now, my opinions aren't doctrine or, hey, this is what you should do, but this is why I'm just not much on body armor. I just hear a lot of people talk about it for the cool factor, but the practical use, meh. Short distance or stationary, or you've got it with your kit when you're in a vehicle or something like that. Yeah, maybe. But for me, it's just, I'd rather be able to move. I'd rather have that just additional endurance, that sort of thing, because it's not wearing me down and causing all that, just the sweating and the dehydration and everything else. So now what I'd like to see, and maybe it exists, is a vest that you can wear underneath your clothing that somebody can't tell you're wearing a vest.
No, that's Safelite. Is it Safelite that is it Safelite that makes a vest? Is that right? Or I can't remember who the company is, but they make a soft, I don't know if it's level 3 or 3A rated vest that you couldn't even tell. You have a coat on over, you'd have no idea because it just looks like it's just flat. It's not bulky, just kind of form fitting. So
something that would stop some of your more standard rounds, a 9mm 45, maybe even a 357. I wouldn't expect it to stop a 454 or something like that. But if it was thin enough and breathable, I mean, but I don't know. I'm not an expert on body armor, but I can just tell you that the way I trained was without it, and I'm fine without it, honestly.
So I do want to ask a question out there. If anybody is currently serving or has served, first of all, thank you for doing that. Second, what is the military's rules about body armor now? Are you allowed to buy your own if you're serving in the military? Do they have specs you have to follow? Are you not allowed to wear it? Is it issued to you? Because I'm kind of curious if people are allowed to buy it themselves if they currently serve. And I've got a cousin that's been in the Army for a very long time. I could probably just call and ask him. I didn't do that before. And this is getting away from the basics of body armor. But I was kind of curious if you're allowed to buy it and send it to your kid if they're serving overseas, or if that person can buy it themselves. So anyway, that's something that we were going to talk about. Single shot, real quick. What are your thoughts on just body armor in general? Have you ever bought it before, looked into it, thought about it, checked it out?
I got about as much experience as Squibb does, I guess. And,
okay.
The stuff was used if we absolutely had to have it. But other than that, no, it's a chance that you're going to take. And there's something else, too, that people got to remember. If you're wearing that body armor and you get smacked, that area, that blood force trauma can be hellified. So, it's 6 of one and half dozen of the other. It may save your life, but you're going to have a bruise where that thing impacted your body for a while, or broken bones even. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've had situations out here, being out here for as long as I have, being in the possibility of a hijack. We've had people shooting at us from bridges and stuff like that. That's why you see a lot of these bridges with that fencing put up on it, so they can't throw stuff off the bridge and hit the trucks with that, or shoot at you, or whatever. You're still not going to change that dynamic of a possibility of getting yourself either killed or hurt
Yeah.
severely.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
it's not going to make you. It's not going to make you indestructible. I'll say that right
no,
now.
no.
Yeah, and somebody had made a comment. If you want to know what it's like, just take some diamond plate steel, tie it to your front and back, and go walk with it for a mile and see how it feels. Now, the good news is that the materials have advanced, so now you can get plates that weigh a quarter what the AR-500 steel plates, if you don't mind spending the money, like the polyethylene or the ceramic. But again, there's going to be some pros and cons, and we'll kind of talk about those as we go through the material. So talking about armor material types here, we're going to go from softest to, we're just going to go through them all. So we've got your soft armor, your Kevlar soft body armor, some of the earliest stuff I remember hearing about as a kid. Lightweight, flexible, level 2A, 2, 3A with knife attack resistance. And your soft body armor can be worn external, or you can wear, there's an external type you can wear with more of a tactical style vest, or an internal concealable version of it that's going to have less of a print. So you can wear clothing over it, and most people would know that you actually have it on. You've got your steel AR-500 alloy, which is what I have, those plates that I showed you earlier. Level 3 or level 4. There could be some 3+ options, like we mentioned before. Can take multiple hits and is lower cost than ceramic or polyblend options. Weight is a disadvantage. So you've got the heavier weight, the lower cost, but the multiple hit capability. But again, it depends on what your application is going to be. Are you going to be out walking, doing patrols? Are you going to be CQB? Are you going to be in a vehicle? That really just determines. You're just going to stay home for home defense, and that might determine what you decide you want to go with when you buy yourself your own kit, right? Ceramic level 3 or level 4, lighter than steel, thicker and more expensive, but lighter than steel. Multiple plates or hits or strikes can be compromised with shorter shelf life. So you might spend the money on a ceramic set, which is about right now, it's about twice the price of AR-500, depending on who you're looking at, who you're going through. And so the ceramic, there are multiple hit ceramic blends you can now buy. So it is getting better. So ceramic would be a step up from AR-500 just in terms of weight, if that's all you care about, but not so much in terms of cost. Then we have ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, which is the polyethylene armor that you guys see on your screen, level 3 or level 4, lighter than steel or ceramic, can be molded to fit the body, limited on multiple hits like ceramic also, more expensive than ceramic or steel. So the polyethylene is going to be the type that you would get if you want the lightest option, but also one of the most expensive options. So again, that gets even more expensive than ceramic, but we're talking expensive anywhere between roughly $125 to say $400 to $500 per plate. So you could drop, I don't know, let's say maybe $2,000 to $3,000 on a high end, top tier, level 4 polyethylene kit if you want to. You can spend whatever you want on a tactical vest. Mine was $73, and I'll show you guys my vest here in a little bit. So as you look at the AR-500, how they got a really nice diagram here, depending on how much you want to spend, determining on what level of protection you think you need. They've got S1, S2, S3, which is for soft. They've got P1, P2, which is polyethylene. So they've got good and better. They've got good, better, best. The A series, A1, A2, A3. You can pretty much whatever you think you need, whatever type of arms you think you're going to encounter. Now you can just go for broke and say go with polyethylene P2, or you could go with ceramic C3, and you would get what would be probably the most resistant version out there. Make sure you guys get the spalling coating, obviously, too. Okay, real quick, Raw Feeding 101's got another super chat for us. So let's go and bring that up over on the YouTube side so it recognizes that I do see that it's there. So what Raw Feeding has to say here is, my best friend was deployed in Afghanistan and caught a 7.62 by 39 to the chest. Squid, we were just talking about this, and said it hurt so bad he was convinced his armor had failed. #Ouchy. Yeah, I mean, I've been shot with a paintball before, and that's not pleasant. I couldn't imagine something coming at you at 2,300 feet per second and stopping, with instantly on you, what that's going to feel like. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure even if you get hit with the armor, it's still going to knock you down. It could possibly break ribs, sternum damage, internal damage. You're gonna live, hopefully, but Squib, what do you think on this?
It's not like in the movies. In the movies, these guys get hit, they rip their shirt off, they're pulling,
Yeah,
it ain't like that.
They turn on. I mean, you're gonna be bleeding out. The traumatic shock of your internals being torn apart is probably gonna make you pass out from the pain, unless you're on something, right?
And people want to say that knockdown power isn't a thing, but I know a guy that got shot through a window. He got shot and fell backwards through a window. Okay, so call it what you will. Okay, maybe it hit something solid or something like that. I'm not saying that a bullet passing through you is going to make you like some of these movies. A person flies back 20 feet, or they fly through a wall, or
they get hit with a shotgun and fly through over the couch to the drywall.
That's not real. That's not real. But I believe in knockdown power, not in the scientific thing, but in we've seen it. People have seen people get knocked down or things like that. So there's a potential for it. You're not going to do flips and all this other crap in the TV shows and movies to exaggerate it. Well, yeah, I guess. But the armor, it's going to hit and it's going to spread out. But the armor's not like some sort of high tech thing where it it's polarized or something like that. So yeah, you could crack ribs, you could have internal bleeding, you're going to have a big bruise. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could happen with that. And you have to accept the fact that you might live, but somebody might carry you out of there. You might be down on the ground with busted ribs trying to catch your breath. You're not going to just spring back up and run away. All right. So if you can't get to medical attention, or if your out of shape buddy who's wearing way too much armor himself can't pick you up and firemen carry you out of there while taking fire, that armor's useless.
Well, really there's a couple features on vests that might make it a little bit easier, but still we're talking dead weight. So we'll get into the cuts and shapes here real quick. But no, Squib, you got a good point. We had a comment earlier. Who was that over there? Chad Kelly says mine says that they're 2.8 pounds each, which is absolutely light. I mean, that's crazy how light that is. That's like, I think my small plate's probably 5 pounds. Premier Stratus 3+ enhanced. I went with those because they're light and thin, can take a few rifle hits. So again, you want to look and see what 308 velocity versus say 5.56 velocity, because it's that velocity is what gives you that armor penetration. It isn't necessarily the mass, although that can make a difference, but really it is all about velocity. The different cuts that we have out there, you got your sappy style cut. This determines what type of cut you're going to go with, and make sure your vest is compatible with that cut, or maybe is designed around that cut. Sappy stands for small arms protective insert. Rectangular with corners cut from the sides, good protection and mobility. Let me just show you mine real quick here. You guys are lucky. I've been lifting weights, so this thing is really light now. So this is the sappy cut plate that I have for my front. I've got two of them, one for the front, one for the back. You could go with a square plate for the back, but I do sappy so my collarbones go over the top of it so that the corners of the plate aren't on it. So again, it's curved. So that's your sappy cut. Swimmer or shooter's cut, that's going to give you more shooting mobility. I'd almost say that maybe be more for like a sniper or maybe like a DMR officer, soldier, whatnot, just because it's going to give you more mobility for shooting, but it's also going to give you less protection. Maybe you're going to be primarily shooting from some sort of cover, so you don't necessarily need the extra weight or the extra limited mobility. And then we have the square cut, which it says, I do not recommend. So square cut, what I've seen on the square cut, I was watching a video for a guy that was on a SWAT team, and he said that the square cut giant plate was what their breacher would wear. So he had maximum coverage from basically right here above your sternum all the way down to basically his waist. Limited mobility, but all he had to do was ram through the door, move off to the side, and the rest of the guys would follow behind him. So the square cut is something they don't recommend. I would say go sappy cut if you guys don't know where to go. That's pretty much what I would do. So speaking of tactical and John Wick, we got Defense Dad here. Hey, what's going on, Defense Dad? How you doing, man?
Oh, I thought you were going to say speaking of dead weight.
Oh no, I'm not gonna. I'm way too kind. I'm not gonna talk smack about you. But anyway,
sorry I'm late. I just got home from picking up my kid at the airport, and
dude, it's fine. Yeah, it's all right, man. I got you. I'm glad you're here. I mean, if you need to leave, I understand completely because of what we talked about earlier. So
sure.
All right. So Defense Dad, what about you? Body armor? Have you ever thought about picking any up, or maybe getting something, or having a rig? What do you think? What are your thoughts on it in general?
Like, let's be honest, they don't make a a rig my size. But however,
you could get a very minimalist plate carrier that would give you the
Yeah.
front and back with straps on the side. So you know what, since the fact, okay, so I weigh 253 pounds as of this morning. Okay, my vest with plates in it, it's snug. If you're bigger than that, we need production. Somebody needs to go out there and make larger body armor options for people that are just bigger dudes. What if you're just naturally ripped? What if you're like 275, 6'5", and the plate looks like it's like tiny on you? We need that. There should be, maybe there are companies that make that type of a plate carrier, but there's a market there. Whatever, I think that there are people that would buy it if you offered it.
Personally, I'm more interested in, and people can, before anybody says a bunch of comments about it, what I'm here to learn is to learn, and I'm looking for an insert for my daughter's backpack, because next year she goes to a school that she can actually carry backpacks.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to say they don't do any good. Well, it's my kid. I'm going to spend the money. So something's better than nothing.
You could get a square soft armor panel that would be level 3 rated that might add 1 pound. The fact that stuff is advanced so far now that the back, and anybody in general, there's people that just have a backpack with their stuff in it. They just want that extra protection. If they're out in public and something happens, you put the backpack on reverse, you've got something, better than nothing. That's all I'm going to say.
I haven't bought her one up till now because the school she went to last year, they had to keep their backpacks in the locker. So it didn't do a damn bit of good, but next year's different story. So I'm definitely going to get one.
Okay. So again, guys, we've covered material types, levels of armor protection, the cuts and the shapes of the armor. When you're going sizing, essentially you have to go from here to here. You got to make sure your vitals are going to be covered. So you're going to want to measure that and determine what size of plate you need, because we're all built differently. You might be able to get by on a smaller plate or a larger plate. You got to obviously make sure that the vests are going to fit that particular size plate. Don't buy a vest and then the plates and have to return something, because some of this could be very heavy. I'm thinking about buying a new, like a second rig. I'm just going to keep this one as is, and I'll show you guys my vest here in a little bit. And maybe go with the polyethylene or go with the ceramic, because this thing is just beastly heavy. And like X Adam 1 says, it's been 105 here for the last couple of days. And right now, if I got to carry 20 pounds of armor, I'm going to die from heat exhaustion and not the bullet. So, there you go. Operating in that kind of an environment, consider polyethylene, because it's going to be, 5 pounds per panel, or 3.5 versus like 10 or 12, which is what my chest plate wears, and then my back plate. So, either one of those, that is what we got going on. So he's got a good point, though. You got to think about the heat too. Sides of plates, height. Okay. Now, the wider the plate, the taller the plate. So keep that in mind when you're getting it. Make sure the carrier has the dimensions for the carry pouches that match your plates. That was one thing I wrote down. Kind of going through the notes here real quick. Okay, plate carrier, soft armor info. So when you get a plate carrier, it depends on what you think you need. I would recommend getting something with side plates, a carrier that has the pouches on the sides also. The side plates only add a couple pounds per side. So I'd get the 4 panel, unless you need ultra high mobility. You're a high speed, low drag guy. We're more of like a low speed, high drag kind of crowd. So we're not going to get away very fast. So you want to think about those things. So the one
that was going to be
Hillbilly.
my opinion, buddy. Is definitely side plates, because anybody that's been taught like tactical stuff, like when Squib was talking about a knife a while ago, it could save you from getting stabbed in the front or whatever, but they've been taught that under the arm is the best place for a stab. So if you don't have
your
no
sides, don't
there,
you have an artery there? You get hit there. If you get cut there, you're going to bleed out. I don't know how you if you get hit underneath your armpit. Yeah.
And then people that know about plates always know that the best shot is when they're sideways, because more than likely they don't have side
or
plates
below the waist, because you don't have any kind of protection down. That's
that's side plates would be definitely a must for me if I'm going to go that way.
So Sam of Anarchy says, have you checked out Premier Body Armor? No, but if you could recommend something, Sam, I want to buy a second rig, or a new, better, lighter rig than what I currently have. So I would consider checking them out. There are so many different body armor companies out there. I remember AR500 is one of the earliest ones that I remember seeing. And I had somebody that reached out to me and told me about the tactical Scorpion armor and how inexpensive it was. It's made in the USA in one of the Carolinas. Mr. Guns and Gear shot it multiple times on his channel, and other channels have done it too. Multiple hits to show what it does. They've done spalling tests on it and stuff like that. And this whole rig I'm showing you guys, I think it was under $200 for everything. And that was about 6 years ago. So let me show you guys my vest. You can still get this. This is the Condor MOPC plate carrier. So hopefully you guys can hear me. One of the nice things about it, because it is, some external plate carrier, it's got all the volley rigging on it, and it's got your loops on it for an Alice setup, and it's got the Velcro in the front. Now, I do have a 3 magazine pouch that I can slap on the front. I do have a holster that will go on there also, and I do have a knife I can put on here too if I had to. Features from top to bottom. You want to get something that's going to have shoulder pads. Also, adjustable shoulder straps are very nice to have. So that's going to do a lot of the weight bearing for you so it doesn't dig into your shoulders, especially if you got to wear more. This Condor rig is not, it's not in the world of like tactical gear. This is considered low end. Okay. The buckles are very, very sturdy, very thick plastic. It's heavy duty. These are not going to snap on you. So on the front, I like having the loops on there so you can add whatever gear you want to just using the Molly standard. Side pouches on these are cool. And what's nice about them is these flaps will go up and over and they stretch. So if you've got a taller plate, you're not going to have raw metal exposed. You're going to have a cover at least over the top of it. And it's going to stay in place because these plates that I have, when I put the side plates in, they fill up this pouch and they come up a couple inches. Well, it's got flaps on the inside that'll hold it in place, right? Then on the back, something that's very important, you've got a pull handle here. So if your buddy would go down and you couldn't lift them, but you could drag them, you can grab them by this handle and you could pull them back out of the way to cover if you needed to. So that's something you also want to think about if you're going to go ahead and get a rig. This thing costs about $73, and that's it. You can buy it on Midway. You can buy it, I think, at Brownells. I bought it off Amazon, but Amazon doesn't sell tactical stuff anymore. What else is on here? Oh, this one has a pouch in the front, a pocket, so you can put items in here if you want to. And then inside, you're not going to be able to see it because it's all black, but the plate's going to go in. This one has the flap that you put the plate in, right? And then it also has a strap inside of it that goes in and Velcros it so the plate doesn't fall out. It gives you like 2 layers of containment for the plate, and then it has a stability strap inside, so it's not flapping all over the place when you're wearing it. So if you want a nice entry-level vest, and I've had this one for 5 or 6 years, I've never really trained with it. I've worn it around a little bit. I've fully kitted it out. Like I said, I've only had to wear it once for an actual situation. That is going to be, in my opinion, the way to go on the low end. Okay. But we can go over to AR500 and just see what some of these real, more authentic plate carriers are going to run for. I'm just seeing if we're missing any comments right now. Looks like Gizzard Gary's out there. Calvaris 32 Special's been with us for a little while. Let's see here. DD's out there talking about some stuff going down. Razor JB. Side plates have their place, but most times impede your mobility, of which speed is your security. Just a thought. Yeah, the thing is they're going to be bulky. It's going to kind of limit your mobility. But I would almost consider going with ceramic side plates to have something, or even polyethylene. That's going to be pretty thick, but it's going to be light. So you just got to kind of think about what you want, potentially how long are you going to have to wear it, and then go with whatever works best for you. For me, it was a combination of just getting the most that I could for the least expensive price, but getting some actual legit armor that's going to work. Okay, that's actually been tested. Why don't we head over real quick and just check out plate carriers here? Let's go over and see what they have. So, just looking at plate prices and stuff. So you've got your A1 alloy. This is per plate, $129 over at AR500. Alloy composite, $399. So I don't know what the differences are. I think that most of your AR500 plates are at least level 3 rated, so this might be a level 4. Polyethylene is $249, and it gets into the thicknesses and the weights, so you guys can kind of look it up on your own if you want to. Multi-hit ceramic is $199. Soft body armor is $149. The AR500 heritage plate, which is just a fairly inexpensive standard AR500 steel plate, $65. Like I said, this stuff has gotten so cheap. And your backpack armor insert is $129, and that also has a sappy cut on it. So it's going to kind of fit a backpack profile a little bit better. They've also got helmets, which we've never covered. And then hard side plates are $80 a piece. So you get a pretty decent selection over there, but I will check out some of these other vendors you guys were asking about. Plate carriers, when we go over there, just to kind of check in with you guys. Hillbilly, anything you guys want to add right now with all that information we just dumped out there? Any thoughts you have, Hillbilly?
No.
Good?
No, not at all yet.
Okay. Okay. All right. Scooby, what about you? Any ideas, thoughts, feelings? I think we're kind of covering it in pretty good detail right now. What do you think?
This is like doing a shotgun episode. This isn't really my thing.
My forte. I can use it. I just don't. Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
That's all good. Okay. Just checking with everybody because I've been talking for like 10 minutes here. X Adam 1 says, hey, Travis, thoughts on some sort of face or head protection? Grand Thumb has done some really good helmet tests, and there's kind of a new standard of helmet that that the military has been adopting recently. I think the Army. So the old ones are on their way out. So you might be able to pick up some old ones, at surplus prices. Or you can go with, I can't think of the brand off the top of my head. There are companies you can go with that are going to give you basically law enforcement / military grade head protection. That's the same stuff these guys are using. We're looking at maybe $500 to $1,000 for a helmet, but you can get the real thing if you want it. So, I mean, I know that. Yeah, go ahead, Squib.
The helmets that we were issued, we called them Kevlars. I mean, they went
Yeah.
from the steel pot to the Kevlar helmet. They would not stop anything. Shrapnel or blunt force, yes. But as far as a bullet, I'm sure a 9mm would go through one. I mean, seriously, it just it wasn't designed for that. We did leave the chin straps off because if concussion grenade goes off near you, your head's going to bounce around in that thing. Chin strap made a great carrying handle, and the helmet is really good for policing up your brass on the range. But other than that, I wore my helmet as little as possible. It just was extra weight. I mean, at the end of the day, you'd have a sore neck and whatnot. Of course, I mean, it'd make your neck muscles stronger eventually, but it really just didn't provide anything extra for us. The headgear that I wore on the flight deck is called a cranial. When we were working on the aircraft, that saved my head from bumping into different things, or if I fell off of an aircraft or something like that. Plus, all of our gear was color coded, so you knew what job the person did based off of what color they wore. That, of course, wouldn't stop a bullet or anything, but that was more practical because it was a lot easier to have a situation where you could bump your head or something like that. A guy got sucked into a jet engine once, and if he wasn't wearing his cranial, he would have died. It actually saved his life.
Jeez.
So when I saw the video of that when I was in school, I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing this thing every day. But the helmet, I use that thing to carry stuff around in more than anything else. It just really, I mean, one guy locked his knees in formation and fell straight back, and that helmet protected his head. Fell right onto the asphalt, and it protected his head because he just lost consciousness. So, I mean, it is practical for certain things, but as far as stopping a bullet, no.
So looking at Razor JB's comment, I'm sitting here looking at mine. Now, I've seen this actually get shot out before in YouTube videos. Razor JB says, if companies say meets NIJ standards, be leery. It should say NIJ certified. Seen a dozen or so companies state that and fail every single time marketing. Yeah, this has NIJ 010.06 level 3 rating. So I don't know if that's just they're building it to that particular standard or if it's actually been certified. So if I'm going to get another kit, it's going to be certified, or I got to know that this stuff is going to be real, because I never want to have to use it. Or if I do want to make sure it's going to work, especially if I'm going to drop $1,000 on a rig, essentially, Let's see. Squib, do you have something else? Okay. Razor JB says, a friend of mine took 3 AK rounds 20 feet to an ACH helmet and never penetrated. Concussion, of course. Wow. Yeah, they've got, the helmet technology is definitely advanced quite a bit. I've seen, some combat footage of people that have been shot in the head and it hits the helmet and ricochets off or grazes over it, it goes around it, and they've gotten super lucky. Those are rifle rounds, Let's see here. Jay Hike says, just saw Twitter on the guy who invented a bulletproof vest. They were shooting him. Yeah, there was a video that was out, a TV commercial. Squib, I might have sent you a link for it. A guy had soft body armor on, and tested. He shot himself with a 45 at blank. You ever see that video? The guy had a bulletproof jacket on, and he shot himself point blank with his 45. Is that fake?
He could have had a steel plate underneath there. Who knows?
I don't know. He showed his shirt, pulled it down, and then zipped his coat up and shot himself. And he's trying to talk, and he's trying not to pass out from the pain.
I mean, if they tested this thing on dummy after dummy after dummy,
I shoot yourself. I mean, I know you want to market
it, and the guy really wanted to sell it. I mean,
yeah,
but I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it.
No.
I want to bring up something else about the helmets.
Yeah, go ahead.
If your helmet blocks your peripheral vision, is it really helpful? If you're crawling around in tight spaces, you're climbing around somewhere, and you're hitting your head against stuff because you can't see left or right or whatnot, is it really worth it? I mean, once again, it's kind of a personal preference or what's your situation. But there are, just like the body armor can weigh you down and make you sweat like crazy and kind of slow down your movement, the helmet can block your vision some too. Now, if the helmet is, you've got a face shield over it, the application is some sort of sentry duty or riot control, or you've got your NVGs hung up there or some crap like that.
Yeah.
I mean, my helmet always looked cool because I had my goggles up there, and I hardly ever put those things on with the helmet. On the flight deck I wore them, but had to look all Desert Stormy. But but I want to be that dude, there's something to say about it blocking your peripheral vision in addition to the weight and the lack of protection from a direct shot from a gun.
Yeah, we're not saying you guys should go test any of this stuff ever. Just make sure you do your research before you decide to get something. Okay, so back over to AR500armor.com. Plate carriers. What do we got for plate carriers? What are we looking at for prices? Now, mine was $73. They've got a bundle here for $175, $169, $109 for an AR concealment plate carrier. So I'm assuming you can put your soft armor, maybe a plate in this one. It says plate carrier, so that's $109. Their Invictus is $189. Again, you can spend whatever you want, $499, $129. So you've got, and then they get into some of the terminology of what you're looking at. So these are just some of the options for what you can get if you want it. Essentially what you're looking at. They've got armored backpacks you can get also that are going to have, they're going to have the plate that's going to come with it, the soft armor. Those run around $200. They also have polyethylene plates that are going to fit in there that are going to be super lightweight. All right, defense stat is back real quick. Let's see here. What else we have? I was going to go back and scan the comments. Somebody asked me, what was that? The company, if I had checked it out. And I said no, because I was going to run over there real quick and just see what they had to offer.
Is that Premier?
They're Premier Body Armor?
Yeah, they're really good company.
Okay.
That's probably who I would go with. I mean, there's a few choices, and one of them would be that company.
So Premier Body Armor, and ballistics plates. Okay, we'll go over there real quick. Just show you a couple companies. Again, guys, I can't make any guarantees from any of these companies, and maybe you've had trash experiences with them. So depending on what you've been through, depending on what kind of research you do, everybody's kind of doing this at their own risk, just to let you know. But okay, so Premier Body Armor, ballistics plates, free shipping. Okay, always a good thing. Shop. Vests. Let's go to discrete plate carriers, core plate carriers. Man, they've got everything. Concealable armor vest, female concealable armor vest, hybrid tactical vest, first responder vest. I would say start here, do a lot of window shopping and narrow it down to what you want, and then go from there. Core plate carrier with level 3A cummerbund armor. So there you go. That one's $550. Again, this stuff's not cheap. And like I said, I bought some of the least expensive stuff out there, and it's probably going to work, but I mean, I would never want to test it. But if you want something that's,
Hey, so Travis, I want to agree with Patriot in the Dark real quick. He says that he wouldn't suggest, he would stay away from Bob's Discount Armor also.
Is that an actual brand? Because I'm not gonna say yes or no. Is that Billy Bob's Discount Armor or Wish.com? Although there have been tests on Wish.com armor on channels before, and they've bought it off Wish and shot at it. But man, just please don't.
If it's from Patriot Travis, he's pulling your leg.
Okay. Good. I should know these things because you can't read the emotion in what people say in their YouTube, messages unless they are really obvious about it. So yeah.
They make things to a military spec, and people think that means it's indestructible, and that's not necessarily the case. The military spec it's got to meet certain test criteria. It might be stronger or lighter or whatever it is than maybe some of the stuff you buy at the hardware store or whatnot, but it doesn't mean that it's always the best choice. But no matter what spec they give it, they always, or almost always, unless there's a kickback involved, give it to the lowest bidder. Yeah.
Hey, there's a question for you. Another comment from Raw Feeding 101. Man, I'm trying to keep up on both sides here. This guy's just, I'll have money for a new armor setup here in no time at all. So question, did Squibs pup like the heart treats? I thought we've answered this question before. Have we not answered this one before?
I answered it for you.
They're still in the freezer.
It's 7 months later. They're still in the freezer. Haven't done anything with them.
Get them out and give them to the dog.
You know what? I don't even think about it. I got all these things going on, and I just don't even think about it.
Don't lie. You thought they were bacon bits, and you put them on a salad.
The salad. I'll probably end up bagging another deer this season and putting the heart in a freezer bag and go to put it in the freezer. Go, what are these two? Oh.
Now, guys, what I'm telling you, look at this. We got everyday armor t-shirts. So this is something you might run into if you're doing some sort of maybe security escort or detail, or you need the ultimate in concealability for your armor. I mean, you've got, gosh, look at this, guys. We've got, yeah, we could spend all day on this. So just go over to premierbodyarmor.com. I'm not sponsored by them, but go over there and look around and see what they have, you know? So again, that's going to kind of cover the details that I have lined up for today. Now, Squid, we were maybe talking about this one. States, we were talking about legality of owning body armor. I can't remember. Is body armor from a just regular citizen, a non felony convicted citizen, body armor's 50 state legal, right? Did you happen to find that? Did you say you looked that up? Or
what I was, I just Googled it real quick and I got something that said it was, but I have trouble believing that it's legal in New York State, in Illinois, in California, that sort of thing.
Somebody got busted with a couple guns. Remember, there's a guy that had a couple guns in his house. He had a modified AR-15, and the ATF raided him, and then he had like 300 rounds. But they said he also was in possession of body armor. So maybe you're not allowed to if you're a felony in New York State. If somebody could chime in from New York State and let us know, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I just a quick Google search said it's legal in all 50 states, but just the way some of these states are about certain things, I don't know. Here's the thing: I don't think anybody should be prevented from owning it or wearing it, wherever the heck they want to wear it. But it looks like you're up to something. It does. Yeah, I'm not saying you are, but it does, because it's like, what do you need it for? So, other than you're going to do the North Hollywood shootout. And you might go, that's not what okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think it's sane or normal, whatever. The average John Q. public who doesn't give a crap about the Second Amendment, doesn't give a crap about self-defense, and doesn't stop to do any critical thinking or be situational aware or anything else like that, looks at it and says, what's this guy planning to do?
My thoughts, if you're going to do that, say you want to train with it or wear like t-shirts and shorts and like gym shoes and have like your iPod, your earpods in or something. I mean, like, so somebody's not going to, because there are two guys that I know that live in this area where I live in, and they walk with this stuff on. They train with it. I see they're on the treadmill running with it. These guys are walking because they're conditioned. I don't know if they're military guys or they're just doing it for their own fitness, but so it is something I do see. There's no gear on it. It's just the vest. One guy has an actual training vest. The other one is an actual tack vest with plates in it. And maybe he's law enforcement. I don't know. Maybe he's military. I don't know. So, but you make a really good point. I wouldn't recommend going, even in Nebraska, I wouldn't go fully kitted out and just walk around. I mean, you have a legal right to, but who knows? You want somebody to freak out and start shooting at you thinking that you're a shooter, So that's something to think about too. Yeah.
If I could step in, I just found this is from July 6th of 22.
Yeah.
Says effective July 26th. This is New York. When not being engaged or employed in an eligible profession, the purchase, taking possession of, sale, exchange, giving, or disposing of body armor is prohibited. People engaged or unemployed in eligible professions include, and it goes on to who can have it. So it doesn't look like, unless you have to wear it for your job, that you can have it in New York.
Okay, that's just New York.
Yeah.
I knew there was some places that it's not necessarily 50 state legal.
Okay.
And I don't want somebody to think that I'm endorsing Big Brother watching you or trying to trample on your rights. I'm just saying that it looks like, what are you up to? Seriously. And there are other things that somebody can do. I mean, I've worn my gas mask to the gun range to shoot a YouTube video and to more or less make a joke. But some people thought it was really weird. I keep one in my truck, not because of zombie apocalypse. It's more or less just if I ever want to put the thing on at work or some other thing, just as a joke. I mean, it works. It's a functioning gas mask. But the reality is that I understand that if my vehicle was ever searched, they're going to go in the back and go, you have a gas mask, drop cloths, duct tape, zip ties. What the heck are you planning to do? Right. So it can be questioned. And what would you do? What would you do if you saw somebody next door doing fill in the blank and it was illegal, or it made them look like, for example, I had neighbors that were running a car rental place out of their house next door. They had 2 cars and they're renting them out. People were there all hours of the day and night with cars. It looked like
you think there's some dealing going on there, right?
Really would. So
yeah.
Stop for a minute, dump your emotions, quit with your shall not be infringed, don't tread on me crap, and stop for a minute and think about it. It doesn't mean that there isn't a way to do this and not draw attention to yourself, or there isn't a way to train with this stuff, or whatever it is. And I think if we normalize some of the behavior and some of the reasons, eventually we'll reach, John Q. public who doesn't care, who really doesn't care. But if all they're going to go off of is what they say on the news, what they see in the movies, and what the politicians say, then yeah, it's going to continually make somebody look like they're up to something. So just stop for a minute and think. That's all.
And again, we're not trying to be fuds. We're just thinking about your personal safety. That's all. And if you want to legitimately try or test this stuff out, there's probably places where you could go to do so. So let's see. Honcho Fed. Am I emailing you now to join us on the podcast, Honcho? If not, I want you to email me your email address at thecalibercorner@gmail.com, Honcho, and I will get you the link. I thought I included you on the mailing, and maybe you're busy, and that's cool if you are, but I'm trying to make sure I'm inviting anybody that wants to be here. And Honcho, I thought maybe we had talked about it at Thunder on the Prairie. So, so guys, that's kind of a whirlwind, but that really does cover a lot of the information there. But you can basically you can also get different types of body armor to cover. Like you can get like pull-on pants that have panels in them that are also bullet resistant. You can outfit yourself however you want to. If you just look for it, you're going to find it. But make sure you go to a reputable vendor or seller where you're going to be getting good stuff. It's kind of funny. I was watching Grand Thumb again. I keep talking about his videos, but he's doing tests on stuff that's relevant to me. He did a gas mask test, and they bought Wish.com gas masks and tested like 3 out of 5 of them didn't work. They basically ended up going back to military surplus gas masks to get ones that would work with actual CS gas. Did you guys watch that video?
I've been wanting to do a video on this.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble finding a place where I can let off riot gas and walk through it and do some of the things. Like we had to do jumping jacks in the gas chamber. I'd do that on video. What the heck? I already look
Bring
like
it with you the next time you come to Nebraska, and we'll make it happen. We have places where nobody can hear you scream.
Seriously.
Yeah, we've got private. Well, I don't say I have family private land.
I want you to think about this. If there's a house downwind and they get this stuff, they ain't gonna like you too much.
Okay, I got you.
So
I got you.
This stuff. If there's wind, it'll break it up some, but it's going to smell. It's going to be an irritant.
We got to wait till the wind is coming out of the north, and then we can do it. It's a possibility we might be able to make it work out at Nebraska Shooters. I don't know, possibly. I got to run that by Justin and Dorothy, but we might be able to make it work.
Something where I'd be willing to go ahead and buy some gas grenades. We can just pop them up, and I'll make a cloud, and I'll wear the mask, and I'll don and clear right there in the camera, walk through, and start breathing. Tell you if I know I'm gonna smell it. I always did in the military when we got it, but how well the seal's working. And then maybe just do some activities just to show you I can, wear the mask. I remember I drove to work in my gas mask once just to see if you could drive around in the car with it. I didn't have visibility issues or anything else like that. But then later somebody goes, dude, you can't do that. If you're wearing a mask while you're driving, they'll pull you over and they'll charge you. And I'm like, really? I've seen people wear a face mask while they ride their motorcycle.
Oh, I know.
So
in Grantham they also did shooting with the gas mask on. So they did actual shooting with their EOTechs, and they had a hell of a time trying to get the right angle to even shoot with the 2 lens masks on and stuff. So
it makes it difficult. It really does. And then when you're trying to get behind cover and concealment, and you've got smoke and just everything else, it really does. But you can do it with enough practice.
Hang on 1 second here. I have to respond back to Dee Dee's private comment. So yep. There you go.
So would you consider the gas mask as something to supplement body armor? Or is that for a separate episode?
Well, let's look at what we had going on last, when the riots were happening. There was a lot of tear gas being thrown. There was a lot of gunfire going off. Depending on what your situation, if you live in a hot zone in an area that is prone to have those kinds of issues, you might want to just consider. I actually bought one. I did buy a Wish.com one. We should test it. I got 4 filters with it. We should check it and see if it actually works. So
I would pay to watch Squib wear a Wish.com one during that.
No, I'm going to watch him,
but I kind of want him. Yeah.
I've got 4 different military issue gas masks, and I've got filters for all of them. I'll wear all 4 of them in some riot gas, and that's right. I ain't wearing the Wish one. But now I still do want to get tased. Hey, can we do that at Nebraska Shooters? Could somebody tase me? Tase me, bro.
Come down here. I'll
We're
tase
gonna
you,
pepper spray you. We're gonna tase you. We're gonna CS gas you.
Man, no pepper spray, man. That stuff that's difficult to get out of your eyes.
The next day, and it dyes like your face with the dye and stuff. Don't ask me how I know. I'm just kidding. But they do mention they have dye on the can. So, Now we're just having fun. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. It's been a little over an hour. I got some stuff coming up here, and so anyway, yeah. So that was our discussion on body armor. We talked about NIJ ratings. We talked about armor material types. We talked about cuts and shapes. We covered plate carrier options. Now it's just going to come down to your individual application. What do you think you're going to encounter if you ever think you might encounter it? And it might come down to the cost. And I will say this: the one time I legitimately, actually, truly needed it, I was thankful I had it because I had to. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is if I didn't have it, I feel a lot. I felt safer at that time. The money I spent on it was justified. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm going to give my little personal spiel on. I would just say get a set, buy it, get something decent, and it's there if you ever need it. You never know, right? We don't know. We're 78 hours, away from a blackout happening, and or what do they say? 3 days after the power goes out, people start knocking on doors because they need a cup of sugar, right? So that's kind of the thing to keep in mind. But anyway, now Honcho Fed says, how about plate carriers for those of us that are Husky? Honcho, we mentioned this before. If there isn't somebody that makes let's say a 2XL on up plate carrier, they should. I mean, just because you're a big dude doesn't mean you don't deserve to live, like to be able to protect yourself, right? I mean, there's a market for it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
body armor for big dudes is called a tank.
Look at our particular, community. We're well fed, we're corn fed crew, right? I'm trying to put it politely. So yeah. I mean, I think that we should definitely, make somebody go out there and market it and make it. You'll make money. I guarantee it. So I guarantee it. Let's see here. Bearded Lunchbox says the plates and carrier that I want to get are $1,000. Okay, but how much did you spend on that last gun, right? I mean, we complain about, I don't want to spend $600 on a gun safe, but we drop $800 on a gun. I mean, priorities, bro, priorities. So, but I hear you, Lunchbox. It's not cheap, but what do you value? What's most important to you, right? What do you value the most? And sometimes we just gotta deal with it. Honcho Fett says my 511 backpack has a plate carrier pouch in the back. Really, when you think about it, if you have a traditional computer pouch in a backpack and the strap is decent enough, you could probably fit a plate in there if you know the dimensions. So here we go. Thunder on the Prairie 2024, beating up squib. That's right. Hey guys, I'm Travis P11, and today we're gonna taste squib.
I'll be the photographer to document that.
Go back in slow mo.
What about those suits that dog trainers wear, right? And then you guys stick the canine on me,
Charlie. Have ammo dog come rolling up on you.
You can stick Hank on you.
Put a munchie bone on there and just put some duct tape around it. Come here, boy. He'll just come rolling up on you and just tackle you. Stupid stuff to do with Thunder on the Prairie 2024. That might be a good one. So, yep. Also sponsored by Haynes, because as soon as Squib gets tased, he's going to wet himself.
Yeah, I just thought of that right before you said it.
Probably presented by Haynes.
Oh boy, no, it'd be Duluth
Keeping
Trading.
men dry for 50 years.
Duluth Trading, no pinch, no stink, no sweat.
Here we go. Bearded Lunchbox. That's like shooting out of an enclosed area without ear pro, so it if you had to shoot inside. Yeah, I've done a couple shots with a few of my guns without ear pro, just because I needed to know what's going to happen. Am I going to be hard of hearing for a little while after it happens or not? So I've done that a couple times it's funny whenever I hunt, I don't notice it. Like when you're out in the open, anytime I've shot with any of my firearms, deer hunting, like it, or even just sighting in the rifle and stuff, you don't really notice the noise. But man, when you're in a range, indoor range, yeah, no, it's going to be, you don't want to endure too many of those if absolutely necessary. I'm just looking at the comments you guys are putting down here. Having fun. Having to shoot quals with full mop gear on is tons of fun.
Oh man! Oh,
is the mop? That's your chemical protection gear, isn't it?
Oh, it's a charcoal suit. You will lose 10 pounds of water.
Yeah, I heard it's awful.
Yeah,
a buddy of mine in high school went through basic training and said it was the worst part. So
it's a zip up suit. We had woodland camouflage. They also had the 3-color day desert camouflage ones, and it's charcoal. It leaves all this black soot on your skin, and then you've got to put rubber over boots over top of your boots, and it's got special ties for that. And then you wear the gas mask with the hood, and then you've got the gloves. It's
by the time you gear up, you're already dead. Pretty much had to know something was coming your way. You'd have to have some. How fast can a person put this on if they train with it? What's the 5 minutes?
I'd say under 2.
Okay, so it's not something that's going to take 10 minutes or 15 or 20 minutes to happen, right?
I'd say the boots were the worst. Okay, the over boots were the worst. Okay, so Yeah.
Well, my son-in-law, he's in the service right now, and that's what they have him going in and sleeping for chemicals and stuff. And like, he don't have an inch of body fat on him. I mean, he's like lost every bit of it. It is so hot.
Oh, yeah. The comment there about the CS gas, what is the actual smell? What does it smell like? What is it? Is it like sulfur, like rotten eggs? Is it like pepper? Is it chlorine? Is it like ammonia?
Man, all of that combined. Here's the thing:
Yeah,
when you get hit with it, your skin itches, your eyes water, snot just comes pouring out of your nose, and you panic. You just have a fight or flight response. I watched a guy, they made us take off our masks, and this guy got a whiff of this stuff, and he freaked out, ran out of the gas chamber, ran into a picket fence, tried to climb over the fence. He got hung up on his gear. He's got 3 drill instructors trying to rip him off there, and they made him go back through.
Don't they make everybody take their mask off so you experience it without a mask? You have to experience it. Yeah.
The first time I went through, the eyelet was missing from my mask, so I had this stuff in my face the whole time.
Oh my
God!
Like,
take off your mask, and it's just
So my buddy, is it true? Is it true? Like in every like training, when you guys go through basics, there's that one guy in your group that's just like, what? Like you have that one crazy guy that just, because my buddy who went through it, he said there's this one dude, they called him Animal. Like he'd just be like, you guys are a bunch of, and he's just walking around, he's laughing, everybody's hacking their guts out and snotting out.
You can develop an immunity to it. The guys who work, the NBC guys who work the gas chamber, were in there the whole time talking, no mask. We had CS gas all in, and they're just, they're breathing because they got used to it. The pepper spray is more concentrated. It's more so the pepper spray is more direct, more concentrated, and that sort of thing, whereas the gas kind of spreads out. And if there's no breeze, that gas just kind of floats there and just sets.
Yeah.
So, and really, when you get your face full of riot gas, the best thing to do, open your eyes. You don't want to open your eyes.
Okay.
Put your arms out and just let the breeze, just keep walking around if there's no breeze. Every instinct you have is to rub your eyes. Don't rub your eyes. It makes it worse. And the snot is just running down your face, and it's just like,
I would pay to see that.
And then they say,
we need this next year at Thunder on the Prairie.
I didn't say I'm taking the mask off, dude.
Honcho Fett, this sounds like the description of some of my past relationships. It's like a stinging, pretty metallic cloud of horror.
Yes.
Okay, I get it now. I don't ever want to experience that. So that kind of sounds like some of the hot sauces I've tried in my life.
But in the same sense that if you were trying to get through something downtown to get back to your home, your car broke down, or you had to get somebody out of there, called you, said, get me out of here, whatever, you knew you were going to be on foot and you were wearing the body armor. If you did have the gas mask, that's going to help if you have to go through riot gas. You might not be in the riot, but that gas could be all over the place. It could be lingering. You might have to go. So something like that might be something to consider in addition to body armor for a situation like that.
Okay. Patriot in the Dark says, don't hold your breath. Just breathe in normally and it works out better. So either he's trolling us or he is being sincere. So is that
that's what they told us, but he knows
go in with it on, take it off, breathe in deeply, remask, and leave every money. So the point we're trying to make here from this entire 15-minute diatribe is don't buy a gas mask on wish.com. Okay, get yourself like some sort of military surplus grade with filters that are not expired, and you will be good to go. So, all right, what do we have here? Bearded Lunchbox says, I had to be hit with OC when I started in corrections. It sucked. Dude, I don't ever want to go through that. I do not want to go through it. So, what do we have here? So, Honcho Fed says, my favorite story was during our FTX exercise. Our first sergeant tied 2 CS grenades to 20-foot cables on his LBE and ran around the camp to catch everyone. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. There's just like this cloud of death following behind him, you know? Wake up, gentlemen. Oh, dude, that would be awful. Oh, God. Sometimes I wish I would have joined the military, I swear. All right. So, guys, we're going to wrap it up. It's been a fun episode. It's been full of a lot of laughs today. And again, a serious topic. But seriously, though, when it comes to the body armor, we're talking about a lot of money. Do your research on whatever weight you think you can bear. Look at your budget. Look at what your application is going to be. Buy from a reputable company. I think we've given you some good options tonight. And I think you guys are going to be happy. So next week, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have an episode. I'm trying to line up an author, a person that I've met and has some done work on the side that's very applicable to our community and what we do. So I'm going to try to get him on next week if at all possible. If it doesn't work, we'll have another topic that we'll talk about. Otherwise, if you guys ever want to suggest topics, just email me at thecalibercorner@gmail.com. Send me a topic. We'll talk about it, especially if it's something we haven't talked about for a while. We might maybe go into some of the older topics from years ago and maybe revisit them and see if there's anything new. But if anybody on the panel has a topic, make sure you bring it out there. So I think that's it. Let's go ahead and we'll let the panel give themselves a final plug here, and then we'll go ahead and let everybody we'll give a shout out on the YouTube side, and we'll go from there. So Hillbilly up, American Hillbilly, you're up.
All right, buddy. Well, I was just looking at my Under Armour, and I can't find the rating on it. So I guess I need to upgrade.
Well, see, they spell it ARMOUR. That's not real armor. That's misspelled armor. You want
British
ARMOR.
armor.
What's that?
Okay.
British armor.
I need to work on my spelling,
American
too.
real armor. No U's. No U's in it. Just like color. Why would you spell color with a U? Caramel with an A. Now, apparently somebody said there's two different kinds of caramel. Nobody ever told me about this. I've been lied to. The caramel is one thing and caramel is something else. Is this true? Anyway, because somebody said, I think it was G23. He said caramel is like a soft caramel and caramel is, I have no idea. So, anywho, Hillbilly up. Continue, man. What else? What's coming up on your channel, man? You just had a YouTube premiere here. I want everybody to go over and watch it. You guys were stopping 357 Magnum bullets. Is that you were catching 357 Magnum bullets? Is that correct?
Yeah. That's what we're trying to do. Shooting the new Rossi R92 lever action.
Yeah, bro.
And it is lever, not lever. We kind of
we just say lever to troll people. We just say it for the heck of it. It's ramen, it's pecan, it's caramel. It's yeah. It's
okay. I gotta step in. It's lever, and it's because
dude,
you gotta say lever because if you ever shoot one, it's so damn much fun. You won't want to leave her in the safe.
You want to leave her alone.
There
That's
you
right.
go.
Right. Yep.
I totally agree with that, buddy.
All right.
Oh boy. But yeah, just put that video up there with the Rossi, and then last week I posted 5 videos on the High Point 9mm carbine. And anyway, so you want to go check those out, and I got a great video coming up this coming week that you're not going to miss. I was filming it the last 2 days and got editing to do, but it's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys have not checked out my live on Saturday night, it's called Guns, Beer, and Therapy. And we just have a blast there. Just a lot of fun. It's at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. So if you get a chance, check out my channel, Hillbilly Up, and catch us on our live. We always have a giveaway on there of some sort and just have a lot of fun. Try to have topics range from, guns to, you never know. We might be talking about bubble gum too or something.
Hey, nice.
We try to have
look at
topics
us, man. We covered the gamut today. Caramel, gas masks,
betcha.
bodily fluids. I mean, we covered we had a whole spectrum of topics for today. You never know what you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Well, thank you so much for having me on, Travis. And
it was
I appreciate
awesome having you here.
it.
Appreciate you showing up. Yeah.
Great side chat out there, man. It's just, I've been just having a blast sitting here, visiting with the side chat too and watching all their comments. So,
well, it's
anyway,
the pre-chat. It's a pre-chat that's a lot of fun, but it's a pre-chat that we don't show live. So, you guys only knew. All right, man. Appreciate having you here. All right. Real quick, Raw Feeding 101 gave us a super chat. Thanks, buddy. Am I a cool kid now for inspiring a topic? Yes, you are, because you made my job that much easier. So thank you. And Raw Feeding 101, why aren't you on our show? Why aren't you on our podcast? If you ever want to jump in and join in or be on the panel, man, I send out 45 invitations every week, and I am blessed to have the panel that I have. So I'm so happy people actually want to show up. So again, Raw Feeding, if you're down, you can always join us, dude. Don't worry about it. Depends. Whatever you know about firearms is fine. Don't worry about it. If you know nothing, great. Join us anyway. So there you go, man. Squibby, anything you want to say before you go?
I went to Merriam-Webster.com and Wikipedia.com, and they both say both pronunciations are correct. So you can call it caramel or caramel.
Okay, but the thing is that one spelled with an A and one spelled without, like literally written a different kind of way. So I don't get it.
No.
Is it a British English versus American English thing
No,
or something?
Nope. It's just what they're both saying. Both
nobody's
pronunciations are correct.
Nobody's wrong on that argument. Okay, cool.
All right, well then let me run this one past you.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
The rifle is a Garand, but the man who invented it is Garand.
And he said he didn't care how people pronounced it. He literally
That's
was
right.
quoted
So
as
the
saying he didn't care.
M1 Garand rifle was invented by John Garand.
Like everybody calls it a grand, G-R-A-N-D, like 100
Because
grand
we
bar.
didn't have
right?
the
Yeah.
internet back
Yeah.
then, and nobody knew who this guy was.
Yeah.
So they pronounced it the way it's spelled, Garand, but it's really Garand. And yeah, he doesn't care. And if you call the rifle a Garand, you can, but it's just some sort of woke crap. The man's name is John Garand, but it's the Garand rifle. And there are other things in this world that are like that. So caramel or caramel, they're both correct.
There you go. M. Gabriel,
Nope.
what about lever and lever?
So
Nobody
I
asked me to pronounce stuff.
The component
Yeah.
on the rifle is a lever, but the action is a lever. So it's a lever action. So you articulate the lever.
See, look,
on
guys,
the lever action rifle.
Normally you're dumber when you leave this podcast, but today you guys have learned something. So we're making sure that everybody goes out of here just a little bit smarter. So there you go. That's right. Honcho Fett says caramel's a place. Caramel is the candy.
Yeah, he's talking about
Carmel, California.
Where Clint Eastwood was the mayor.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, there you go. All right. Squibby, anything else you want to add at all? Anything else you want to say?
No.
We're
Just,
good. Okay.
Everybody go out there and get a bag of caramels.
Absolutely. Pecan caramels. And then enjoy some ramen noodles later on. All right. Defense Dad, anything you want to say before we go?
So it was an interesting show. If you want to check out my channel, I'm back doing videos. I'll have something out tomorrow. That's about it.
Cool. Sounds good. Awesome. Yeah, and I'll have a video. I'll have a video on Wednesday, and then I'll have one on Saturday for you guys to watch. I got some cleaning videos coming up, and then I'll have just a little gear test video, just an unboxing on Saturday, and I'll give you guys an update on it later. The next week, I'm kind of putting some content together, so I got stuff rolling out for you guys. If you go over on patreon.com and support me at Travis P11, you guys get early access to the videos. And I need to start the monthly drawings back up. Now that I got some time, we're going to start those back up again. I've got a box ready to go. So we will have a monthly drawing here for patrons. We'll try to get one out this week. We'll make it happen. I've got a pretty busy week, believe it or not. But yeah, it's going to happen. So, okay. Again, check out the Defense Dad channel. Lots of good stuff. And last but certainly not least, Single Shot. Anything you want to say before we go?
I don't have too much. Been a real good show today. Lots of information. And, I got to agree with the rest of the fellows here. Go with your purpose, your use, and what you can afford. You analyze what you've got going on for your life and what you have to deal with. I thought about it myself there a couple of times to have here in the truck just in case somebody starts shooting at the truck. Yeah. Which has happened before in the past, not to me, but a friend of mine.
We saw it all happen when stuff was going down in Oklahoma City. They had a trucker that was pulled out of his truck. I don't know if he was killed, but trucks that were being stopped on the interstate and stuff, which is ridiculous.
You don't know. You just don't know. And this guy that was a friend of mine, he lives over in Ohio. He was a very fortunate individual, and thinking that if he knew anything about armor back then, he probably would have been wearing it. But he took a 30-06 round through the chest, and it didn't hit anything vital. So he was really lucky.
Wow.
And I thought he was just pulling my leg until he pulled his shirt open and showed me the scars.
Oh, God.
That boy was lucky. That boy was flat out lucky. So,
yeah,
it's a possibility. And the way things are going to be going here in the near future, I hope it don't happen, but it's always a possibility. The thing about hijack out here is every day we got a possibility. Every day. So you never know. Yeah. Take care. God bless. America moves by truck. Thanks for the invite, Travis.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate thank you for doing what you do, man. Thank you. So that's it, guys. Season 6, episode 287. Let's see who's watching on the YouTube side. We got Honcho Fed out there, G23, Patriot in the Dark, 2 Live Moo, M. Gabriel, Bjorn's watching today too, Tony York, Raw Feeding 101. Today's other sponsor of today's episode, Raw Feeding 101. Let's see, Hillbilly Up's out there, J Hike, Bearded Lunchbox, X Adam 1 in the house. Let's see, Defense Dad's out there also and joining us. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss DM Foz out there also? Good to see you, bud. Jay Hike, I think I mentioned Jay Hike before. Might be about it. Razor JB. We had G23 out there also. Chad Kelly watching. Tactical Fud. Chris Winstead's out there also. Chris, good to see you. Sam of Anarchy 92. Yeah, Sam, I'm going to definitely check out Premier Body Armor, dude. Hunting with Stuff and J&J in the house. Jake Hooser, too, giving us some good information, too. Thanks for chiming in, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's see. Chad Kelly. I think that's about as far as it's going to go. So, all right, guys. So thanks for joining us again for Season 6, Episode 287. We'll see everybody next Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. that other time zone to the east. But in the meantime, I want you guys to have fun. I want you to be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, everybody. Take care. Be good. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alicia.
Bye, Alicia.
Bye,
Bye,
Alicia.
Felicia. Oh, we're still live. We're still live. We're trying to end the broadcast.